Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series, and first let me show you my books. Um, this one is the first one in the series, just called The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants by Brashares. This is called The Second Summer of the Sisterhood. Oh, there's like something on it. Okay. Girls in Pants, the third summer of the Sisterhood. Then Forever in Blue, the fourth summer of the Sisterhood. And then the book I'm going to talk about is Sisterhood Everlasting. Yay! Okay, and this is the fifth book in the series, and it's the last one. And this takes place 10 years later. And I'm not going to go into details about what happens, but basically it's a story about four girls that share the same, are all born in the same birthday month, and then they bond in like their summer in high school over a pair of pants that magically fits all four of them. And it's kind of a pair of pants that keeps them in touch as they go away for the summer. So anyway, the Sisterhood Everlasting is the last book, as I said, and I just wanted to talk about this one because I just finished reading this one, and like it's so emotional. But like here, I'll read you what happens on the back. On the cusp of turning 30, Tibby, Lena, Carmen, and Bridget are now living separate lives, out on their own. Yet despite having jobs and men that they love, each knows that something is missing, the closeness that once sustained them. Carmen is a successful actress in New York, engaged to be married, but misses her friends. Lena finds solace in her art, teaching in Rhode Island, but still thinks of Costos and the road she didn't take. Bridget lives with her longtime boyfriend, Eric, in San Francisco, and though a part of her wants to settle down, a bigger part can't seem to shed her old restlessness. Then Tibby reaches out to bridge the distance, sending the others plane tickets for a reunion that they all breathlessly await. And indeed, it will change their lives forever, but in ways that none of them could ever have expected. So the first thing I noticed when I saw this book cover is that there's actually only 3 girls here. And so I kind of knew that something was going to happen to one of them. And it turns out that Tibby is the one that is missing from the 4 of them. And Anne makes you think that she drowned herself on purpose or something, and so it left all 3 girls just grieving and grieving and grieving through this whole process, thinking that she just killed herself and she couldn't make it. And then Anne just sucker punches you at the end, and revealing this thing that you find out that Tibby is actually didn't try to drown herself on purpose. So now I'm going to go over a couple questions that the book has at the end. What did you think about the relationship between Bridget and Brian in this novel? Did it surprise you? Yes, it did surprise me actually. Because Brian and Bridget seem like really opposite characters, so you wouldn't think the 2 of them would end up together. They're raising Bailey together, so they kind of have to spend some time together. And I think it was a good thing that they had Bailey to bring them together. I feel like even 2 people who are very, like, maybe opposites and really different from each other can grow to like each other, get used to each other over time. So it's possible that even though Bridget and Brian were so different, maybe Anne wanted to pair them together to just kind of see how interesting their personalities would be together, and how, a couple that you probably wouldn't picture together actually try to raise this girl together. But then of course she goes back to Eric at the end of the story, so you know that they are not actually romantically involved. Were you happy to see Lena end up with Costas? Did you think she would end up with someone else? Why or why not? If she didn't end up with Costas, I feel like the book couldn't end without Lena and Costas getting together, because it feels like they were fighting for each other for so long that if they were not the ones that ended up with each other, then who else could fill their place? So, and if someone else came into the picture, like if Harriet got further developed with Costas instead of Lena, then she'd have to write another book for sure. What would you do if you were in Tibby's shoes and knew that you were going to die soon? That's a tricky question. Because Tibby was able to write letters to each person into the future, telling each girl what to do and where to go. And Tibby didn't want anyone to see her. But I think I would like to say goodbye to everyone, because I just don't want to put anyone through that much heartache. Okay, so I have to say I really liked the book. But at certain parts, I did feel really bad for the men in these girls' lives. They are just really patient with these girls while they're going through their grieving process. And the one that I feel the worst for is actually Eric, because Bridget puts him through so much. Just kind of taking off one day and not calling him or telling him like where she was going really. And then she gets pregnant. He has no idea. And then he doesn't even know if he's ever going to hear from her again. And then at the end of the book, all of a sudden, like, contact him and be like, I have something really important to tell you. Can you be here? And then, like, boom, the next day, he's there. So, I mean, just like, she was just showing, like, how much these men really love these girls and were patient and willing to hang around and be there for them. And same thing with Costas, that he was, like, everything that kind of Lena put him through. But I definitely felt the worst for Eric in these books. Okay. So, good series. You guys should check it out. And I think she has some talent to write a book where it's not very action-packed, but it's all about the grieving process and still make it very interesting and very relatable. And if anybody, and I think it's very helpful too, if anybody is going through a grieving process, like she just really pinpoints everything. Alrighty.